Okay, so now we're live recording. So today we are going to do a fun little project. We're gonna make a yo-yo. Okay, here's the store-bought factory guy from whoever makes this. Duncan yo-yo. And then
The classic.
yeah, well no, this one's they call this one a mosquito. I don't know why, but anyway, so this is one I
A
made.
smaller version of the butterfly.
Yeah. Okay. And this is one that I made, I don't know how many years ago. So we're going to go ahead and make another one. So I've got a blank that I actually was part of another project that I'm going to repurpose a piece of soft maple and it's already kind of round. And I'm just going to put a tenon on it, chuck it up, cut one end off, and then we'll go from there. So let me get on my dust mask. And we will.
Ralph, what's the diameter on that?
The actual diameter of the Duncan is just a shade over 2 inches. Okay. The wooden one that I made is about 2 3/8. You know, somewhere in that area. I don't know if there's any. I don't know what works best. You know, somewhere around 2 to 2 1/4, I think probably be the best. You know, too small, they may not be able to handle easily, and too big, they probably won't. I don't know, be difficult to use. I don't know. I've never tried it. So anyway, so let me get started. And, oh shit! Helps if you plug the lathe in. Running around dodging raindrops this morning, and I forgot to plug in the lathe. Okay, there we go.
By the way, got a question for everybody. Ralph just plugged in his lathe. With all the variable speeds and all the delicate electronics, how many of you guys unplug your lathe when not being used to avoid lightning strikes?
I do.
I don't.
No?
I do.
I do.
But you got, Joe, you got variable on yours?
I don't.
It's mechanical.
Oh, okay. No, so there's no inverter.
I have a Rikon that's got an electronic variable. It's not like it's an expensive inverter. It's just
It's a DC.
yeah, it's a DC.
Yeah, a little one, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't worry about that. Actually, I've got a spare one.
Spare lathe.
I
A
never
spare.
had mine plugged in.
here with a phone. Huh, okay. Okay. I'm just going to part this, get rid of this excess, and double check this. All right. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and bring my tailstock back up for support. And I got my calipers set at a shade over 2 inches, about a 2 1/8. And I just go ahead and with my spindle roughing gouge, just take this down to that dimension. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to face this outside and make whatever finish I want on the end of the on the outside there. So we'll make this one fairly simple. We'll just come straight across. And let me switch cameras here. And we'll just clean that up with a spindle gouge. Okay. Give that a little sand. Now you can, depending on what kind of wood, you can leave that plain. If you got nice wood, go ahead and sand it down and possibly even put some finish on it if you want. I'm going to put a little decoration on this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of lines with a homemade vortex tool. I'm just going to put a couple of lines here. And then I'm going to take this, called a decorating elf tool. And it has a little, this one I use in a round ball mill on the end there that rotates. So in between those lines, okay, now we'll cut a pattern in there. And you can either leave it like that or you can highlight that pattern with a Sharpie. So let me go ahead and do that. Just a real light touch across here with a Sharpie. Let's see what that looks like. It's not showing up too well. That Sharpie's about done for. Let me hit it with another one. I don't know if you can see that. Let me bring this other camera down where you can take it. Well, actually, I'll just show it to you when we get done instead of fooling with cameras. So, and anyway, now we're going to go back to getting the other side done. So, what I'm going to do is set, I've got a pair of dividers here, and I'm going to set them to a dimension here from the outside to the inside of the groove for the string, for the axle in the string. And then mark that. Okay. And then we come in with our parting tool and cut the slot. what I'm using is a 3/16 diamond parting tool, which is about the right width. So we'll just come in here carefully. And what I'm also going to do to support that is bring up the tailstock. I remove the pin from the center of the live center so that we won't dig a hole in there. I've actually got some wood pins that'll fit in that center so you don't mark it up your piece of wood. We just run that up there gently, give it some support. We'll come in and part this, cut a groove in there. Make that axle about 5/16 in diameter. I hope you can see that down in the slot there. And what we'll do is we'll take some sandpaper and clean that up a little bit, smooth it out. Smooth that over a little bit. And put a little bit of radius here on the outside if you want. A little bit here on the inside. And then we're going to take our dividers again. We're going to mark from inside the slot. We're going to give ourselves a little bit extra. So now we got a mark, so we know where to part. All right, when we get down close there, we want to remove the tailstock so we don't have any pressure against it. I finished parting that off. I'm just going to use the small parting tool. Okay.
That looks like macadamian, Ralph, could it be?
No, this is actually, I bought it as maple, but it may be sycamore by the grain. I'm not sure. If it's one of the soft maple sycamore species. There's some wood I bought up in North Carolina at a symposium many years ago. So,
Ralph, if you wanted to make a number of these,
yes,
you could probably just turn a cylinder and then just keep marking them, do you think?
absolutely. Yes, you could. If you were going to make several, I would just, if this was a, straight tapered piece of wood, if I
Right.
was starting from scratch with a blank, I would just go ahead and make the whole cylinder uniform all the way and make, several of them at a time instead of, rechucking and moving back and forth.
Now, which chuck is that? Is that the Apprentice or?
This is a one-way Talon,
Oh, okay.
the small one-way with the standard number 2 jaws. And these are actually the smooth jaws that don't have the serrations in them. This is the same size jaws. You can see, you see these serrations, and this chuck that I've got on there this jaws are smooth on the inside. So, and another thing you can do is to keep from marking up your workpiece, because this is technically finished on this side. I'm just going to turn this around and gently grab it. You can get some clear vinyl tubing and split it and put it over these jaws. There. So now we'll just bring this up, and you can see, well, you can see it. I've got my mark here where my finished dimension, where I left it a little bit excess material when I parted this off. So I got room to clean this face up and get a nice finish on it. And I got to be kind of careful with it because you've got that very small, that axle in there is the only thing supporting this. So that's why you're hearing that chatter. Round that over a little bit. Round that over a little bit. Go ahead and sand that. We'll come back for our decoration. Of course, I should have measured the other side, but we'll just wing it. You can only look at one side at a time. So. All right, who the hell has got their phone going?
I'm sorry.
And we'll go back and we will mark that with a marker. And that is pretty much it. I didn't quite clean that side up enough. Still got a center indentation from the live center, but you can see the pattern a little bit now. That shows it a little better. Let me see if that other camera will show it better. If that shows any better, the pattern. That particular tool, it comes with, well, actually you have to buy them separate, but come in a package. If you buy the complete set, it comes with 3 different ends to it, ball mills. So you've got the one that I used, which is basically a round one. I don't know if you can see that well. Let me go to the other camera.
Interesting thing that I noticed, if you wanted to, you have to use the same either sapwood or heartwood. You can't use the split because you want it to be balanced. If you use the sap and the heartwood together in a yo-yo, it may not be as dense on
Right.
each side.
Okay, so there's the one cutter. Okay, let me grab the other 2 and show you those. This is the package, Henry Taylor Tools. So you've got teardrop shaped cutter. I don't know if this is going to show it any better or not. Anyway, it's a teardrop shaped cutter. And then you've got a straight-sided cylinder cutter. Okay. So depending on what what surface you're doing and what look you're after. You can, try different cutters. And I have no idea what this tool costs now. It also comes with a shortened up paintbrush for, you can run at it in there while it's spinning to clean the fuzzies out of the cuts. So, let's see if we can put a string on it and see if it actually works. I don't know if I can get a string off of this one or not. Guess not.
Oh, just spin it.
What's that?
Just spin the, hold the string and spin the yo-yo. And it should, one way or the other, it comes off.
Think so?
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
usually works.
Let's see. No, that screwed me all up.
Well, yeah, you go one way, it'll make it tighter.
Yeah, well, let's see which. That's making it tighter that way. So let's go this way. There we go.
There you go.
Of course, could just buy new string, more strings,
Yeah, well, if I may, I tell you a little story about the strings.
Yes, please.
When I started doing these yo-yos, I wanted to get some extra string because I would include a string with the yo-yo.
Right.
I went to places where they sold yo-yos like Walmart and Kmart. Didn't have any extra string. I went to some hobby shops, even that one hobby shop that used to be on Bird Road on the east side of the Palmetto, back out there. They didn't have any. So I ended up going online and actually buying them from Walmart. They didn't carry them in the stores, but they sold them online. And buy a pack of them. I forget what it was, like 80 cents for a string.
For a string?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's about all you have into it is the 80 cents for the string.
Yeah. Now, I haven't tried it. Let's see if this is going to work. Should work. See how my yo-yo skills are. Oh, yeah, it works. Okay.
There you go.
So
Can you do the sleeper in the cradle?
Yeah.
I can do a sleeper, not the cradle thing, no. So
World, all that other good stuff. Yep.
Ralph, that kit cost $80 on Craft Supply.
okay, so it's $80 now.
It's 87. It's on sale right now for 80.
Okay.
Is
Yeah, it's
that
a
what-
nice little tool for decorating stuff like this. I use it also. I've used it on the lids and the bottoms, outside, inside the lids, and on the outside bottom of boxes, to give it a little decoration.
If you are so inclined, Mike Peace has a demo where he makes his own. So if you look at Mike Peace turnings,
Right.
The other thing is with the symposium on, if you're signed up for the symposium, they usually have sales during the symposium. So you might want to keep an eye on that if you're interested.
Yeah.
Just another little trivia fact on the yo-yo strings. I didn't know this. When I was selling them, some younger kids usually were the first ones that would gravitate towards it, and the strings that you buy are kind of long. So the kids would use them. And of course they couldn't use it because the string was too long for as short as they were. So even in the instructions, it shows you the way you determine the string length is you let the string go out all the way. And then the top of the string, you touch your belly button. And that's where you cut it and make the loop. And that's how you determine the length of the string for your height. So if you're a short person, use a large string, you're going to have trouble with it, and vice versa. That's why I would give them a couple extra strings once they bought a yo-yo.
What if your belly button sticks out a little more horizontally?
Comment.
I don't know anybody around here like that. We're not gonna go any further with that anyway.
Nope.
So,
But there was one show at, I think it was at the Ramble. There's this lady came up. And she said, I used to be a yo-yo champion when I was a girl, a kid. And I said, oh yeah? She said, yeah, here, let me see if I can still do it. She took that yo-yo and boy, she did every trick there was.
huh,
Yeah,
that's when she was a girl, but what is she now?
he was, I'd say maybe in her 50s.
Never mind.
Did she buy the yo-yo?
Did she buy the yo-yo?
Oh, I don't remember. I think she did. I think she did. Special discount for experts.
Expert professionals,
Yes, professional discount.
former professional yo-yers.
Oh, years.
Now you can also, they make kits that I think Craft Supply, Penn State, Packard, all them sell kits for, I've never bought one, so I'm not sure exactly what they are. Something about ball bearing, axle, and so you might, look into those if you're interested. But of course, those you got to spend money on kits.
Yep.
And I believe they also have a metal button that goes in the center to cover, I think, where you drill a hole through it. So, but I've never done one of those, so I'm sure, I don't know how much they even are, but there's a cutoff point where you can make any money on, you spend too much on kits and you can't get enough to make any money on them. So, and you could also, if you wanted to do these in two-piece, with I've thought about it. I might try some, if you can get some Corian scraps and use Corian for the sides and, put a, 1/4-inch stainless steel bolt cut off in there, just for smooth, cut the threads off of it for an axle would be an option, epoxy them together. There's all kinds of ways you could do this, different, Corian or, I guess you could cast these, Ozzy. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
If we were to make some blanks.
A mold. Yeah, you could cast them square
Right.
and turn them around just like you did. And then the idea of the bolt, not epoxy, but yeah, resin together, that's a great idea. I like the idea of maybe you could turn one and maybe make a mold that just casts them already round. And then all you got to do is really finish them and add some decorative stuff to it would also work.
Right.
Maybe even cast it with the bolt inside, but that would be a complicated mold to make.
Yes, it would.
Depends how much fun you want to have making molds.
Right. Yeah, that's a whole nother, it's not really turning. It's
a different skill set.
yeah, it's a whole different thing.
I have a mold that so I had an idea to make these coasters out of resin, but not like buying those cheap silicone molds. I had a block mold like specially made by one of these mold makers, and it makes it's something like 4x4 by 1.5 inch thick mold that you could cast basically whatever you want. Something out of that, you might be able to cast a block there and split it and make the sides also for a yo-yo. I had thought about using it to make coasters or make these little decorative resin art pieces that I only made one of. I never actually used it for anything else. So you could get creative with what's out there.
Right. I mean, actually,
Ozzy, if you wanted with that mold, you could probably make some like paperweights, and there are a whole group of collectors, like the pin collectors, they're paperweight collectors with your resins and stuff.
Yeah, that's actually the original idea I had was some sort of like hybrid wood resin thing that, you know, you cast it square and then turn it around and then polish it up. And it would be like a decorative desk piece, an art piece. The only thing is I never saw any, like, I showed it off on Instagram. Not a lot of people responded to it. Everybody thought it was pretty, but I don't think anybody wanted to buy it. But yeah, you're right. Maybe it's got to look for the right market. Like the pen people might actually be into it.
So, yeah, just something different to play with.
Question,
Yes,
did we ever open an Instagram account to post stuff on Instagram of what we turn?
no, not
You
yet.
haven't? Okay. I'll keep an eye out for it.
Okay, you do that. Let me know when you see it.
All right.
You know, Instagram has actually been a little problematic lately. I don't know if they got hacked or something happened, but I started an Instagram page for just the pens that I'm selling. And it has been multiple attempts I've tried to hack into it, where I keep getting emails asking for me to change my password. Like if somebody's requesting password changes to that account, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so stupid. And I only have like 4 pictures, but literally it's just like the pens that I have that I'm selling now.
Right.
But I don't understand what's going on with Instagram. So we might have to be very cautious about that for a little bit because it's going to be a hassle.
Okay.
That might be your competition trying to get rid of you.
I'm not competing against anybody yet.
Other pen sellers.
Oh. So anybody got anything else?
I have a question about the yo-yo because I think I might have missed how you finished it. So I saw that you did the decorative on one end, and did you cut it off? And how did you do the other side? Did you just remount it on the chuck?
Yeah, I just
Okay.
turned it around.
Okay,
So
makes sense.
I cut the decoration on the one side,
Uh-huh.
and then I just turned the whole thing around, and you know, after I finished the one side, which would be the outside, of course, first, and then marked with the dividers, so I would end up with the same thickness within a couple of thousandths, I think. I don't know if I can. There might be a slight discrepancy here in the dimension, but I don't know if can you guys see any dimension
But
difference?
before he flipped it around, Ozzy, he cut the axle with the parting tool.
Yes.
Right, I got that far, but I missed how the other end was finished. It looks good from my house, Ralph.
Okay, good. So
The
yeah,
other thing to remember is he also used the smooth jaws. If you use those other serrated jaws, it'll mess them up.
right.
That's the part I missed.
Yeah,
how
use
it
the
was-
smooth jaws, or you can put get some vinyl tubing, like probably 3/8 vinyl tubing, and split it.
Mhm.
Cut 4 pieces and split it so that so that it'll go over each jaw.
Right.
Okay, so it's like a little sleeve, and that'll work.
That's pretty cool. Thank you, Ralph.
Okay. So
Awesome.
yeah, I thought about that, when I was doing it, I thought, about, talking to you about doing some resin ones. So they might sell nicely. I don't know.
You know what would work, Ozzy? If you could, when you were talking some of the kits, you could probably buy the axles and cast that in when you poured it, kind of like you did that, that thing you showed us at the meeting, whatever, the ice cream scoop thing?
The inserts.
Yeah, the inserts into yeah,
Right.
you could do that. And I was thinking you might not even have to buy a kit. They sell little metal dowels that are used to hold up shelves
Right.
that sometimes you can get them in different thicknesses. You might be able to just epoxy one of those in to a little hole drilled in the middle. And yeah, you could definitely do some resin one. You just have to get
The other thing you could,
blocks of resin and find a way to hold them.
the other thing you could do is if you didn't want to buy, if you wanted to cut the cost a little bit, Harbor Freight has a little 6-inch metal cutoff wheel thing that is really great. And if you got stainless steel rod and the right thickness, you could cut them and grind them and make it a whole lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea. But yeah, if you want some resin to try out a yo-yo, Ralph, I can make you something.
I want you to make something.
Oh, there we go. I can do it. I gotta put the four.
I want to
jaws
see
back
everybody
on my-
make something. You know, we've
He's
been
challenging you,
showing all
Ozzy.
these projects and nobody seems to be making anything that we, you know, next time we have a meeting, we don't see any of these projects. So I guess they're either boring projects or nobody's making anything.
Okay, that's a good challenge. I'll take that up. We'll see
You know,
if I
mean,
can have one by
Mr.
next
Piper
meeting.
made some eggs with a chicken.
Yep.
That was a good job.
Yeah, hatch the chicken, multi-axis chicken.
Multi-axis hacks to chicken.
Ralph, with the, for the axis, could you have marked the axis instead of going all the way down before you turned it? Could you have maybe marked it, and that way when you turned it and put it in the chuck, it would have given you more support, and then done the axis while it was in the chuck?
Yeah, you could do that too. You know, take some of it, only take half of the material out.
Right.
So you got more support, so you didn't get that chatter on the second side. Or you can use the chatter as decoration. Extra decoration. So.
Yeah. But just another thing on the chuck, Ralph, what I find, you can do many things. The vinyl tubing, like you said, I found that was a little big in some cases, depending on the chuck I used.
Right.
I took an old leather belt and cut strips. And at first I just took one strip and just laid it on the inside.
Okay.
You can handle that. You can hold it in place while you put your yo-yo in there, because once you put it in there, because sometimes you may have a tendency to clamp down a little hard,
Right.
and that'll just make marks in the yo-yo. I do that with leather. And then eventually I took those leather strips and I put double-sided tape on them.
Yeah, I was going to say either double-sided tape or some of that 77 adhesive, spray-on adhesive.
Yep.
You know, if you were going to set up and run a dozen of these off, just take some of that spray adhesive or double stick tape, like you said, and glue the leather to the jaws. Yeah.
Yeah. Or another thing you can do is that after a while I got fancier since I was doing a lot of them and I used it for different things, that a jaw like that. So I bought one of those plastic jaws.
Yeah.
And you turn those to whatever shape you want, and you don't get any marks from that because you're actually turning the jaw with a piece of plastic. It's a round piece of plastic that you cut to make your jaws.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if they make the plastic jaws for all the different manufacturers of chucks.
Yeah, I don't know. Chuck, the jaws comes with 2 holes in it, and that's what you do. You got 4 pieces, and you take that pie shape, if you would, screw it into your chuck, and then go and turn it to the size you want.
Right. So yeah, I mean, you can even make your own jaws out of plastic like that. Get some of that UHM, whatever the hell it is, plastic. And you can get that stuff in 3/4 or 1 inch thick pieces and you could make your own jaws out of that if you wanted.
Mhm.
You know, there's a variety of ways to do it. I know one way has what they call a set of flat jaws, which are metal, which are just flat, and then you can screw a piece of wood or a piece of plastic to that and cut your own jaws. You know, there's a variety of ways to do it. It's, you know, it's all how involved you want to get. You know, if you're just going to make one or two, you know, then there's no reason to go to all this fanciness. But if you're going to set up and, you know, do a production run of a whole bunch, you know, or if you want to make, let's say you're going to make 10, you know, this week, and, you know, down the road, you want to make 10 or 20 more. If it's something you're going to continue to make, then it would be advisable to set it up to where it's a lot easier and quicker to make them. So, you know, a lot of different ways to do things.
Yeah, in the past, I've used some coaxial cable to do it. Just a little small piece of coax that I put inside.
Okay. Yeah, that would work, because that would crush, but not too hard. Yeah, that would work pretty good. You cut it in 4 pieces or just one piece in a loop, Jim? Hello?
Sorry, I just used one piece and sort of looped it in there.
Okay.
So there was an open gap in one point of it.
Okay.
That way, when I knocked it off, I could find it with the wood shavings. Easy.
There you go. Okay. Anybody got anything else?
Ralph, can you show that wooden point? I like that wooden point in the one way. That's a great idea.
Oh, well, those were actually, these were actually leftover. I don't know how many of you were around when I did a few years back. I did a bowl that had spikes on the inside of it. That was I saw that at one of the symposiums. Rebecca DeGroot made this really cool bowl, and it had spikes on the inside. So I decided to make one. And so I made a bunch of these little spikes, and they just happened to, actually, they're a little bit small, because let me pop this out and show you what happened here. It pushed it all the way back in to the thing, but you could make, and this is another thing Dave, you know, we've been talking about shop made accessories. This is another perfect example of that. Something you can make to fit into the taper. You know, you can make a little wooden plug in here to fit in here. See, now that one's bigger, so it doesn't go back in. So something like that would be perfect. And you can put pressure on there, and because it's wood, you're not really going to mark it up. You know, another thing I do, and I don't know if I can lay my fingers on it right now. I've got probably a dozen of them around here somewhere. I can't find one, but what I did is I cut discs out of leather to go up on here. And I use those when I do the spin top, when I make the spin tops. Is, you know, I take the center point out and put a piece of leather. And then the point of the top goes up in the hole here, and it's, you know, shielded by the leather so that I'm not marking up the end of the top. So just another one of those shop made things, you know, to make things easier. So.
Hey, Ralph,
Yeah.
I picked up the Nova Life Center that they have that has, it's kind of like that, except it doesn't have the thread at the end, but it has like a mini Morse taper, like a
Right.
stubby Morse taper, and you can make different accessories. And that's actually what I use to make the little tenon on the handle for the coffee scoop. Is I make the tenon first, and then I stick it in a little wooden or Delrin like adapter that I turned, so it supports it even with pressure.
Right.
And I've done all sorts of cones and little things that fit in there just to adjust to whatever project I'm working on with them. I even have one now that I made that was Delrin. That's like if I had to go back and fix one of the fountain pens for X or Y reason, but I already cut off the end where I had the Live Center. I have one that's like a Delrin cone or inverted cone, so drilled in. And it sits in the back of the pen perfectly, and I can go back and do any adjustment necessary to the pen. So it's really handy. It's just like that. I mean, it's just whatever you can imagine to use it for, but it's pretty neat. I don't know if they still make it. It was hard to find when I looked for it because it's an older product, I guess, that they had, but it comes with a bunch of stuff, even like a threaded rod that you're able to, I guess, put a bigger wooden disc to support a bowl or something in it.
That was a Nova Center?
Yeah, it was a Nova Life Center.
Okay.
You know, you could do the same thing with the one way, because the one way is you can make a threaded block of wood and then turn whatever you need on that. Because what is it, 3/4 10, I think, is the one way threads.
Yeah, 3/4 10.
And that you can find that tap real easy. It's a standard tap. You know, I got mine on Amazon for a couple dollars, you know, maybe $5, $7. And it does real well. You can make anything you want.
Yeah, those taps that you're talking about for the one way, that comes in real handy. I got mine at the RMC store. Very good price on it. The 3/4 by 10-inch tap.
Right.
The RMC store.
Oh, that store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ralph made it. Ralph, that's
Yeah,
another
one of those. Actually, yeah, that's what we were doing, is making our own taps out of bolts.
right.
Now that you know, you can find the real tap for under $10. And
It's almost cheaper to buy one than to make it. Oh, the one thing though about the one way Live Centers is when you take out that metal piece that they give you at one way, put it somewhere safe, because they're like $8 or $10 when you need to buy them and lose them. And they fall into shavings real easy.
yeah, mine's inside here. I just stuck in a piece of tape. Or if I'm out like at Fairchild or somewhere and I take it out, I just stick it in my pocket. So, of course, the best thing to do is get 2 Live Centers and keep one with the pin in and one with the pin out. That way you don't have to worry about it. So I think that's all I got for today. So those of you here, you know, like Dave said, Dave Piper takes the time to update the website. So information about upcoming meetings and events is posted on our website. we do send emails, and as a reminder that the next meeting will be on Saturday, August the 7th
Right.
at the West Kendall Library.
Yep.
And,
I did send it out, a chat to everybody, Ralph, the library, the address and the time.
Okay.
Do you have the zip code on that, Dave? Because you need that sometimes with the,
Lakeside in the hammocks. You know where hammocks,
It's 33196.
there you go.
33196.
Same as mine. How about that?
How about that? So, all right.
thanks, Ralph. That was a great project. By the way, there's only 6 months left to Christmas. So if you're a grandparent, start making yo-yos for your grandchildren.
Yeah, and the good thing is they don't make any noise.
Until
And
they
they're
hit-
not electronic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I saw a project at a symposium. It was I can't remember the name of it now. It was a musical instrument that's used a lot in Latin bands, and a perfect project for you to make and give to your grandchildren so that when they're at home, they can drive their parents crazy making noise with it. So we may have to make one of those in the future. I
had one
Go ahead.
I had one of my people that had two twin boys, and I knew him since they were babies. And I always gave him some kind of musical instrument for every birthday or every Christmas. I forget which it was, but he said, because and they loved it. And he always liked it too. But after a while, I said, "Would you please find something quieter, like Cars or something?"
Yeah, exactly. These are toys for grandchildren to use when they're home, not at grandma's house. All right, guys.
Thanks, Ralph.
I'm signing out.
Thank you, Ralph.
We'll see you all. Y'all are
Thanks a
welcome.
lot, man.
Thanks, Ralph.
Thanks,
Have a good
Ralph.
one.
Thanks, Ralph.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
Bye, Ralph.
Ralph.
Bye.